Hello everyone, Alexander here. And in this video, I'm taking the balloons painting from the Lightbox demonstration and taking it to a tighter and more refined state, to a point where it feels comfortable to say this is close to finish, if not finished. I say that because with paintings or drawings, you can never really pinpoint a finalized moment. There's always so much more that you could do, that you could change and adjust. So I guess in a way, it's important to know when to stop yourself. It's important to know how to edit your time, let alone your design in your painting. It can be difficult to know when to stop or when to call it finished for yourself if you don't have a vision set, if you don't have an end goal set in your mind. And to me, that means to be prepared before you start your painting. And by prepared, I mean to have explored your idea, to have gathered your reference, to have really asked all the questions you need answered about your design, about your story, about your mood. And then comes the question, well, how do I know what type of questions to ask? And that is the same thing as, how do I know what type of shapes I should put down, or what type of brushstrokes I should make, what type of colors I should pick? I feel like this comes from repetition and honing your instinctual intuition. It comes from observing and absorbing from other artists, from other painters or filmmakers. It comes from facing your insecurities and fears, if you want to call it that, and accepting your mistakes or failures, if you want to call it that as well. You see, I think failing is a leap into a more successful and bigger improvement, bigger self-improvement. My end goal through this painting, for this demonstration, was to take it to a refined state, was to try and show it in a clearer way. So I asked myself, how much more clear does it need to be? What does refinement mean for this painting? What are the unclear things about this painting, and what is necessary to be communicated through this painting? And is that what I need to define more clearly? I took a keep it simple approach for this demo because the big idea is already established. The story about the balloons, the man's life, the environment, the mood from the atmosphere and the color. However, you could take a different route in terms of how tight or how much you edit out or how loose you paint something. feel like you could approach the painting and ask yourself, if the focal point was executed in a loose manner, is that something that could reflect the story or the character? The marks we make in a painting are part of the storytelling. I always think about it this way. I don't want the application of the tool to be excluded out of the interactivity it has with the audience. I want every part of this to have emotion. So a mark of a brushstroke has meaning behind it. It carries a purpose, whether it's something meta and subliminal or something obvious. It carries a simple or a complex message for the viewer. So with all of this in mind, as you're watching this process play out, I am making adjustments and defining shapes to reinforce my idea behind the story. And all of this is to strengthen my mood and composition. Because without that, the story might not be clear. And by the way, this is essentially why I love painting, why I love to communicate my ideas through paint, is because I have such a subconscious connection with the viewer through a brushstroke. It is such a radical idea to think that something so abstract could somehow communicate an emotion with your audience. And that is something very difficult to analyze and describe why it's working in such a beautiful way. All of the colors and the shape proportions from big to small, and the shape placement for the compositional arrangement of this image has a meaning. And behind that, the brushstroke itself is applied in a way to describe this character's emotion. So with that said, all of our work that we create as artists, it comes from a personal place. But don't take it personal if it doesn't work out for you the first time around. Don't take it to heart. Instead, find a balance. Not only in the work, but find a balance in life. We need to experience something outside of what we repetitively do every day. This way we can feed our hearts and minds to produce better and more refreshing work to share with the world. Thank you guys for watching and listening to this. I will put a link to this image, the final resolution of this image, in the description below. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. And remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, everyone.